Hi. So this is a video that my colleague and friend Marty Stanny and I'm Connie Eberhardt, are doing to introduce you to our 4-month healing journey that we're offering, which also includes a 6-day in-person retreat. Next one's going to be in Colorado, in the foothills of Colorado. When we'll get more on the details later. But first, who are we and why do we do this and what are we doing? So I'm going to say a little bit about myself first, then Marty's going to share a little bit of her background. So again, my name is Connie Eberhardt. Since 2016, I've had a full-time practice as a somatic sex educator and sexological body worker, which includes scar tissue remediation. I'm also a sex and intimacy coach and a master trainer in the core erotic blueprints. And actually, that is where I met my friend and colleague, Marty Stanny.
Hello, I am Marty Stanny. I am a licensed clinical social worker. I just retired from the U.S. Army after 21 years doing a lot of trauma work. So my therapy practice mostly is focused on trauma and sex. So sex therapy is an area that I delve into. As Connie mentioned, we met through the erotic blueprint. So I became an erotic blueprint coach back in 2017. And then since then, Connie and I have been on team, and we've worked together many, many times supporting erotic blueprint events and other fun events around the country. So yeah.
So let's do our own event.
Yeah,
let's
exactly.
Combine our brilliance and
combine our passions. Yes.
Yeah.
So this has just been kind of years in the making of us doing this together. And, of course, we've done this together for individual clients, and I'm just really excited to do this as a group program. So
yeah, because like you were saying, Marty, we've worked with a number of events and groups and, even separately with groups, and just the power when people are healing together collectively, not just isolated on their own. Like, this is just my thing that I have to fix.
Yeah. And I think that's true too for like you and I, like we're combining our skill sets and, combining our knowledge and skill sets and our care and love and support of humans.
Yeah.
And for a group of humans. So it's like really kind of exponential, the amount of support, love, care, and healing can occur.
The 3 people have each other, and then they have us combined. A body worker and a therapist, working collaboratively, which is powerful.
Yeah. So Connie, tell me more, like, why do you do body work? Like what really drew you to working with hands-on bodies?
Oh boy, the nutshell version, right? I did massage school years and years and years ago, maybe 30 years ago, but so I have a love for embodiment and bodies, but I knew I wasn't going to be doing massage as a practice in a massage therapy place. And I went on to be doing like women's wellness and personal training and experiential education. So it was always about what can I learn through my own body and help other people learn through their own body. And so that was kind of just a side thing as a personal trainer. But then when I got into the world of the blueprint coaching and sexuality, and then doing the body work there, it's just what can be learned in our own body and coming back to aliveness, coming back to wholeness, which is a physical thing, an emotional thing, all the levels and layers. So I just resonate right away to working with bodies. And that's why sometimes the marketing and the writing about it is hard. It's like, I just do bodies. I don't do this marketing and writing. Right. so but we're doing it. We're doing a video.
I feel you right there. I totally feel you. Yeah.
And what about you, Marty? How did you get into, the therapy world and then sexuality as well?
Well, as I mentioned before, being in the military, I actually changed to therapy mid-career in the military. I was originally doing like evacuation, so like medical evacuation. So when someone would be wounded on the battlefield, helping them evacuate back to to medical care. And so, um, having been deployed myself, 4 combat deployments, twice to Iraq, twice to Afghanistan, it was like, I saw the toll that all of these deployments were taking on my fellow soldiers, on my really good friends. Having lost a few friends to suicide, I was just like, wow, people need support and need really quality trauma focused support to help heal. Like, this doesn't have to be, PTSD and trauma doesn't have to be a badge of honor or a life sentence. And so really being able to help people release these past experiences and be able to live really, have embrace more vitality and really live their lives. So anyway, so I made the shift. The Army offered a MSW program through university. And so I made that shift, and it was the best decision I've ever made, just having some of the best world-class trauma training, including EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing therapy. I became a certified EMDR therapist, as well as for the last few years, I've been training other therapists in the Army. So probably a few hundred therapists in the Army, probably around 300 or 400 therapists in the Army. I've taught them EMDR therapy on a training team. And so that was so worthwhile for me, just to be able to be able to share this modality with others, because it's so effective. And I'll talk more about that later, but anyway, I get really jazzed up about it, as you can tell.
Yes, I always love hearing more and more of your story. I find it so fascinating.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, we've been connected for so long, and we just keep on learning more and more about each other.
Yes, yes. This video could be quite long, though.
Right.
All the things. So
right, exactly.
I'm glad you brought up, working with trauma, though, and it seems like that's almost a buzzword these days. Trauma this and trauma that, but it is like you saw that right away in the importance of things that are stored in our body. And so really, that's the trauma we are especially addressing together, is how the events were stored in our body, and whether it was emotion, the physiology, the emotions,
Yeah. Well, and that's one reason I did, like a few years ago, like I reached out to you about working together, or, we kind of had this a mutual client where we collaborated on this, and and I've had this idea of working with body workers, because really the mind body approach is the way to go. Like, I'm a therapist. I love therapy. I love, I also love coaching. Like but trauma is not stored from, just up here in the head. And so talk therapy, there are limitations, right? Like, and as a therapist, I don't put hands on bodies, but being able to guide someone to, be able to release things from their body, like, and that is a specialized skill set. And so I really love this collaboration for that reason.
Yeah. And I like that. So the way we've structured this, first we were excited about the 6-day retreat, because it's 4 days of every day they get EMDR therapy and body work in the same day. So that's powerful that they both of those just enhance each other in the same day, consecutive days. But it's not only that, but it's the support ahead of time. Because we were talking earlier, like, gosh, is it necessary? Should we just do the retreat to save money? And it's like, no, that's so. Do you want to share a little bit more about why it's really
absolutely. So first and foremost, like, there's been some really good research and some people doing immersive experiences with EMDR therapy, where basically people do, multiple sessions in one day, or they do multiple days consecutively. And what they found is that people have just been able to, you'll see my dog pop up here. Awesome. You'll see, and what they saw with this immersive type style of therapy was that people were getting such great benefits in very quickly, like they were making these major shifts, and they were long lasting. So, so but how to make this really powerful is when we are together, like we are doing the EMDR therapy work. So ahead of time, we're doing all the history taking, all the pre-work, we're creating the strategy. So when we're together face to face, like we're hitting the ground running. And here's the thing is like you can do EMDR virtually, but it's this immersive style. You know, it's hard to be behind a computer screen. You know, we've all been doing it for years and years now, right? Behind a computer screen every single day, but there's such a powerful connection with doing it in person, this immersive work. So those pre-sessions are so important for setting it up. So once we get together, that we are hitting the ground running, and we're also building our cohesion and collaboration as a group. Yeah, we're creating safety in our group.
Yes. And in terms of the pre-work, for the work I'll be doing with the clients, it's same. A lot of the history taking, and that you and I are going to be collaborating on the intake, on the history that we're learning, and then collaborating on the best way to support the clients.
Right. And I think that's such a unique aspect of what we're offering here in the Seen and Unseen Healing Retreat, is that we are taking this multidisciplinary approach, right? Like, so some people may see a body worker, they may see a therapist, they may see a physical therapist or a doctor. And we're not necessarily saying don't see these.
We're not replacing your doctor.
Yeah, we're not replacing a doctor. We're not replacing, other type of medical advice, but we're saying that this is a really powerful way because we're collaborating. We're combining our skill sets in a way that's very personalized. Even though we're in a group, most people don't expect that in a group program, but this is a group, but it's a very personalized, individualized group. That's why I think the groups are so small, so we can provide that.
Yeah. And actually, before we get to the nuts and bolts of it, like, let's discuss, who is this for? Like, why, who would consider doing this? Like, we have talked about, this is scar healing. Well, what's a scar? We both kind of have something we can share on how we see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like our name, right? Seen and Unseen Healing, the Seen and Unseen Healing Journey, right? Like, what is seen and unseen?
That too.
Why did we choose Seen and Unseen Healing?
Yeah. And that kind of relates to the trauma, to the scars, how everything's connected. Yeah. So when we are experiencing pain or loss of vitality, or mainly can show up as pain and limitations, a lot of times something is not moving in our body, something is stuck. So there's the seen, I can see sometimes we have a scar, a physical scar, or we can see that any distortions in our posture or in our body and pains. But the unseen is more trauma. Sometimes when we connect the dots of like, oh wow, that's connected. Right. We don't think about how our emotions are affecting us, or how something that happened in our history is still in our body and affecting our patterns of beliefs and behavior today.
Right. Yeah. The trauma or PTSD has always been known as the invisible wound. And so I think, having this seen and unseen element to, a focus, I guess, to what we're offering here is so powerful, because it's really going deeper than surface level.
Yeah. We're not just trying to fix the obvious, like fix this thing here or fix that. Like, there's so many things that are connected that we want to bring into wholeness.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Cause so the EMDR therapy approach, it is, memories, thoughts, emotions, body sensations, how much we believe these thoughts that we've had in our lives. And so it's multidimensional, and that's why I love pairing it with someone who has expertise in body work, because then we do get really in the body and able to move
Yeah.
move things through as well. So those physical scars and the body pain that sometimes get associated. Yeah.
Yeah. And even, in my training as a sexological body worker, I'm not a massage therapist per se, because I look at the body in terms of how the emotions show up.
Mhm.
So, in my training as well, we definitely address the nervous system. And so it's
Yeah.
the body work is different than like a massage or something like that. It
Right.
is definitely focused on, what's showing up in the body, um,
Yeah.
how trauma, the unseen, shows up in the body.
And I know both of us have this connection around sex, sexuality, like both of us work in these fields of supporting people and healing around sex and sexuality. So I mean, you know, with our with that knowledge, should people expect that these retreats are sexuality focused?
No, no. But the reason kind of I ended up in sexuality was because I used to work with personal growth and wellness and transformation,
Mhm.
and all the different ways I or we can become better and better and healthier. And then when I got introduced to the world of sexuality, it's like, until we look at this, that's connected to so many things, and yet we don't even realize it. And so,
Yeah.
especially, a lot of trauma can be held in the pelvis. And
Mhm.
sometimes when we might find like, oh, I don't have libido, or I don't like sex, or I have painful sex, which is so common.
So
And
common.
it's not just because, oh, I'm getting older. It's like, no, sex should never be painful. And
Mhm.
we are sexual humans. Like
Yeah.
you know, ultimately we should feel that life force. It's
Right.
so, it's not,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Well, that's one reason why I got into sexuality too, is because I'm like, I want to support the whole human. I don't necessarily, it's like, looking at trauma that's just go so far. And plus there's not a lot of people out there that are really focusing on it. So I find that sexuality is a really holistic approach. And so I would say probably, we're not focusing necessarily on, you know, primarily on sexual health and healing in the seen and unseen healing journeys. However, we have that layer of expertise, and on top of that, you can't get that support just anywhere.
Yeah. I'm always amazed at how many therapists don't bring up sexuality.
Yeah.
When clients come to see me, like, have you talked about that with your therapist? And they're like, no. It's just so like,
Or their doctors or anyone. And yeah.
yes, if
Mhm.
that's a no-go place or a shame place,
Yeah.
right there, that's a scar.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know, and that
absolutely.
kind of leads into talking, what is a scar? But certainly if there's any shame there, it's something to be looked at and considered.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
it's life force, it's vitality.
So
So,
so basically it's not, this journey does not have to be related to sexuality at all, but it could come up and it could be related to sexuality. So really, yeah, so we have the ability to support really any of these seen and unseen scars. And I'm really glad that you mentioned too about shame, Connie, about how shame really can become a scar in the system.
yeah, that's one of the unseen. We don't
Exactly.
connect the dots. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, maybe do I not have shame, or what's that have
Yeah.
to do with
I
how
mean,
I
yeah, I mean, the education system, people have been given messages around religion and in our families of origin, that have really caused a lot of pain and shame. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
And actually, kind of tying in too, as far as whether it's sexuality or not, and what scars are. In my practice, a lot of people that come to see me are because of abdominal scars or C-sections or childbirth. So, which
Yeah.
definitely is in the pelvic area and very much impedes um,
Mhm. Mhm.
flow and sexual vitality. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, or some people that might be particularly interested in this 4-month healing journey,
Yeah.
might be
Who's
someone
this for?
yeah, like a C-section, or
Mhm.
um and sometimes or medical trauma, or
Yeah, like
surgery.
surgical scars. Yeah.
Yeah, and any surgical procedures, even hernias, or anything where you had incisions at all,
Mhm.
um, can
Yeah.
definitely impact.
I mean, and let's think about this too, like people who have been, kind of on the mind body trauma side of things, like if you've been in, a motor vehicle accident or any kind of like,
Falls.
yeah, falls, really, trauma, the word trauma, it's a stress injury, right? So people have, have these physical injuries that are then also related, can also be related to like a physical injury and a stress injury, and that just compounds the wound, if you will.
Yeah, because there's always circumstantial, different stories around it, emotions
Yeah.
around it, what was happening in your life at the time, what
Yeah.
were different messages that you received then, or just anything that we could not complete come back to safety. We could
Yeah.
be kind of looping and stuck in a
Yeah.
place of not being safe.
Well, and people who have lived in chronic stress, and and this hasn't always been recognized. Like, I talked to a lot of people, and they're like, "Oh no, I've never experienced trauma because they haven't been through a natural disaster, or or these major." But then we start to talk, and they're like, "Oh, because chronic life stress." It winds up looking like trauma in the body and in the mind, because then the messages there, I'm not lovable, I'm unworthy, I'm not enough, I'm not safe.
Yeah.
So those messages are there, but then the body is always frozen, or the nervous system is, yeah, it's always contracted, and it's always in that like fight or flight response. It's always ready to react, that hypervigilant state, which then, as a body worker, as like you can feel when there's so much tension in the body. Like I can, people can see it. You can visibly see it on someone as they're like hold their posture and everything, as you were mentioning before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
interesting.
I'm kind of moving towards now, for COVID, I had to switch my practice to virtual, which
Mhm.
there's a lot that can be, uh,
Yeah.
and a lot of transformation via virtually, but man, once, the in-person body work, it just really moves the needle, and it's a different holding. So that kind of just reminds me of something we were talking about earlier too, the healing journey, but it's not only because sometimes like heal me, but it's holding you too.
Yeah.
So the 4 months is really a container of we are going to hold you and support you, and the three people together, so the five of us, the three
Mhm.
participants, and especially when we're together, just holding and witnessing, being with, time to take away, we're all busy. A lot of people can think, oh, am I going to have time to do this?
Right.
Your body needs it. Our bodies needs it. Our
Yeah.
bodies need that holding and
Right.
witnessing.
Well, if you think about, like, as babies, we were all born wired for connection. And then once trauma occurs, or once, like, a safety breach occurs, then we become wired for protection.
Yeah.
And then it's like throughout our lives, we just continue to put on armor.
Hmm.
And that armor weighs down our bodies, it weighs down our spirit, it weighs down our mind. And so really what we're doing here is we're rewiring ourselves to go back to connection,
Yeah.
healing through that connection. Yeah. It's so
And
powerful.
yeah, and like you said, a place of down regulation,
Mhm.
attunement to our own body, being able, can I be in a less place of chronic stress? Because
Yeah.
we're always going to have stress in our lives, but
Yeah.
does it have to be in my body?
Well, and all stress is not bad, but how do we know the difference of, being, you know, guard and threatened all the time, feeling as though you're threatened all the time versus,
Yeah.
being able
Yeah.
to just yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
for this particular, journey, it's like it's the three group
Mhm.
calls that we're going to be together. You get an intake. There's going to be, quite thorough intake form, and
Yeah.
then each person will have an intake call with both you and I together. So the three of us are together, and then individual calls with me and with you,
Mhm.
and then the immersive experience in person, and then
Yep.
afterwards like, we don't want you just to go home and like, oh, now what? Or
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
really important to be able to integrate that
Yeah.
and how, how do I make lifestyle changes, or, how do I keep
Mhm.
my body and nervous system in a state of ease and flow?
Yeah, and that's really what it's about, right? Is being able to have an actionable plan to move forward and really integrate like fully into your body, integrate, new mindsets and everything else that you get from that work. Yeah. So how do we
Integration is key.
yeah, integration is key. And it is what's missing too in some, in some aspects in some programs.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I, that's always something I look for whenever whenever I look for a program is like, how easy, how easily will this be able to
Yeah. Is it
integrate?
just a great experience that I had and then it just goes away? Or is this going to
Yeah,
transform me and change me?
exactly. And what I would say too is that, this is not something that is meant to like the in-person work, it's like we ramp up and then we do this in-person experience. It's not meant to blow out anyone's nervous system. It's not meant to it's a fully titrated experience. Like their consent is involved throughout the entire we're so Connie and I, like, we are committed to creating an environment of safety, but really what we're doing is, helping people cultivate their own internal safety, right? Like, we override our bodies all the time. We override, what we really want all the time. And so how do we really recognize when our body's like a yes to something or a no to something? And so really being able to create or cultivate, develop that safety muscle inside, so people feel safer when they go out and navigate the world. There's a trust built with their body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about this collaboration that we're doing, like this whole new thing.
Oh,
So like this is our first one of doing it with three people.
mhm.
So I'm excited about, of course, for this first three. That's why we do have a real discounted price for this first one, to kind
Yeah.
of pull together all the details of this. And we're excited for the testimonials we get as well, because we know there's going to
Yeah.
be amazing experiences, results, transformations. So it's a really unique opportunity this first time around to start right away, because this is probably something people have been living with for a long time.
Mhm.
So, we're
Yeah.
really excited to have people just make a decision to commit to themselves, of
Yeah.
taking care of themselves and
Yeah.
what's
And
possible afterwards.
absolutely. And then we, I know Connie and I were so confident in this model that we've developed that we already have one scheduled. Uh,
Yes.
we have a second cohort scheduled from January through April with a retreat in Texas, in the Texas Hill Country, so a really nice part of Texas, in late February. So
Yeah.
so I'm really looking forward to that one as well, because anyone living in colder climates will
Yeah. We'll
really appreciate.
appreciate coming to Texas in February.
Right, exactly. That might be a nice reprieve as well for
Yeah.
those who are not liking the cold for
Yeah, in November, Boulder, or the Colorado area is still very beautiful. The trees should be
yeah.
changing, and we've got two hot tubs at that location.
Too hot to, yeah. And so I think one thing too, like I love so why we created this was we wanted to create an experience where people could get away from their day-to-day life distractions. So it's almost like a therapy vacation, right? So a therapy body is a mind body vacation where they don't have to deal with the day-to-day, like laundry and
Yeah.
kids all over the place, but really having this time to focus on self and in a community where your needs are taken care of, right? You've got a comfortable space to sleep, you've got meals provided for you.
Really good food.
Yeah, you've got delicious food and a community of other people there to support and hold. we have a couple other like optional activities. Connie is also skilled at, yoga and body movement. So she's going to offer that in the morning for people, optional.
I can't wait to experience what you're going to be offering too.
Yeah. So in the evening, after our, we're going to have a closing circle every evening. And after that, it's optional, but I am a registered trainer and acupuncture detoxification specialist, which is a 5-point ear acupuncture treatment that targets the parasympathetic nervous system to help kind of downregulate and shift into parasympathetic. Also, the Shinmin point, if you're familiar with that, it's a very powerful heart point. The kidneys, liver, and lungs. So it's really targeting all those self-cleaning organ systems of the body to really help move through, detox those emotions that have been clogging our systems, as well as the physical toxins in our bodies. So that'll be offered every evening. It's optional as well. We've got a couple other surprises and things that we're going to bring, and there's going to be some great downtime. So like, in between sessions that you're going to just have a chance to be out in nature if you want.
For hikes or
you mentioned the hot tubs. There's hot tubs. There's time to read, journal,
but we're choosing the locations very much so that to stay internal, be with nature, but we don't want you to be going out. Like, this is really just to be with yourself and each other. This is a gift to you, a healing journey for you. So it's 6 days can be a lot, but our bodies need that to say, you know what, I'm gonna, make whatever changes I need to make and adjust things to be able to give this to myself.
And really though, like the first and last day or travel day, it's the day you're going to arrive, we'll have an opening dinner and then the day that you leave. So it's not, 6 jam-packed days full of stuff. Yeah, there's definitely, we really wanted to create that space, the spaciousness throughout. So you're not constantly, doing all the things all the time. You have ability to also integrate while you're there, which is great. Yeah.
Was there anything else we wanted to cover and really let people know here?
And I guess if anyone watching this video is interested, our email address is love@seenandunseenhealing.com. So, just drop us an email with any questions. You can go to our website, is seenandunseenhealing.com, and there's a contact form there.
Yep. Our first group call is October 12th.
Yeah.
However, before the sooner you sign up, we can get you the intake form, set up your intake call, personal calls with Marty, personal calls with me, and just really start you on that focus on yourself.
Yeah. I'm so excited about working with people in this way. I mean, it's just so powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that was a lot of information there. We can always maybe create some more videos or pages, but mostly, if anything that we've shared here resonates with you, sounds interesting, and if you have any other questions, definitely just reach out to us. Again, love@unseen.com, or you can DM me, or websites and all that.
Go to our website. Actually on our website too, at www.seenandunseenhealing.com, there is a resources tab too. So if you're familiar, or if you want to be more familiar or have questions about the stream bodywork, the scar tissue remediation bodywork that Connie mentioned, or EMDR therapy, we've got some great links there for more information, but we're happy to talk to you and give you that information ourselves. So thanks for watching.
And it would be great to meet you sometime in the future.
Bye.